This is the DJI Wireless Mic 2, and in today's video, we're gonna compare it against the Rode Wireless Pro, along with the previous version of this mic, run it through a bunch of quality tests, and determine if it is the right mic for you and the content you produce. Okay, so diving in, this is a mic, so we've got to start with an audio test. And in front of me, I have the 4 most popular wireless mic kits for content creators. I'm gonna strap each one to my chest, say the same sentence over and over, so we can get a clinical diagnosis of which one sounds better. Up first, we have the Rode Wireless Go 2. Well, that didn't work. Okay, so we've got all the mics on, and I'm gonna make this a blind test because I don't want brand loyalty playing into your perception here. As I'm speaking, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a graphic that just says mic 1, mic 2, mic 3, mic 4. As you're listening, I want you to key in on what you truly think sounds best and worst, and then at the end, I'll let you know exactly which mic was which. All the mics are recording. We'll start right now. My name is Anthony Gallo from ContentCreator.com. 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 Okay, we're gonna do one more test with a brand new sentence, but I'm also gonna include my Rode NTG3, which is the shotgun mic that I have on my desk that I typically use for these talking head videos. Studies show that the people who have the most birthdays end up living the longest. Studies show that the people who have the most birthdays end up living the longest. Studies show that the people who have the most birthdays end up living the longest. Studies show that the people who have the most birthdays end up living the longest. Studies show that the people who have the most birthdays end up living the longest. Studies show that the people who have the most birthdays end up living the longest. Okay. After watching that 50 times, I feel like I have a good idea of what I like best. Before I tell you my thoughts though, go down to the comments and tell me which mic you thought sounded best and which you thought sounded worst. So the grand reveal, mic number 1 is the DJI Wireless Mic 1. Mic number 2 is the new DJI Wireless Mic 2. Mic number 3 is the Rode Wireless Pro, and mic number 4 is the original Rode Wireless Go 2. In my eyes, 2 things really stood out. The first one is that, yeah, the Rode NTG3 sounds really good. And the second thing is that the original Wireless Go 2 doesn't sound good. It gets really tricky comparing the new DJI mic with the Rode Wireless Pro though. Even after listening to it multiple times with multiple different pairs of headphones on, I would say the Rode Wireless Pro has like a really crispy and just natural sounding frequency. Whereas on the other hand, the DJI Wireless 2 is very rich and deep in the bass frequencies. It almost reminds me of like a podcast mic. Generally speaking though, I do not think you can go wrong with either of these mics if you're basing it off of audio quality. But with that being said, there are a ton of other features about these mics that could make or break them as an investment for you and the type of content you shoot. So with that being said, we're gonna start diving deep into the new DJI mic, all of the upgraded features, and then cross-compare it with the Rode Wireless Pro. So when you first open up the DJI Wireless kit, you're gonna get exactly what you would expect. 2 transmitters, which is great for interviewing multiple people at a time, and then you have your receiver. Now, comparing this receiver to the old kit, you still have the great touchscreen display. It is slightly bigger, but more apparent than that, you also get this little scroll wheel, which makes scrolling through the menus and choosing your settings easier. Looking at the new transmitters, it's definitely a familiar design, although we do have this see-through front, which I think looks kind of cool. Same clip and magnet system on the back, which is super helpful. Now, one of my favorite things about this mic kit, on the receiver, we can slide off this little piece of plastic and quickly add on a Lightning or USB-C adapter, which makes connecting this microphone to a smartphone the easiest process on planet Earth. Coming from a background using the Rode Wireless Go 2, this is super helpful because connecting this to a smartphone was always a massive pain in the butt. Sure, you can still connect it if you have the right cord, but most of the time the mic's just dangling around and it can be a pain in the butt. That's actually one thing I was really surprised that the Rode Wireless Pro didn't add with their new release. So definitely major score for the DJI mics here. Now another major win for DJI is their battery case. Even though the size differences aren't terribly noticeable, I love the slim form factor of the DJI mics. It's just a much easier thing to put in your pocket, bring with with you on a hike where you're not lugging around all this extra gear. And on top of that, the metal quick release design is much preferable in my eyes to the zipper design of the Rode Wireless Pro. Now, to give some credit to the Rode Wireless Pro, two things about their case that I do prefer is the fact that the USB-C plug in the back, when you connect that to your computer, it will actually mount all 3 microphones to your computer at once, so you can select any internal recordings and just drag it onto your computer. The other area where the Rode Wireless Pro wins is the total battery capacity. The original DJI mic had a 5.5-hour capacity for the transmitters themselves and a 15-hour total capacity for the charging case. Now, DJI did upgrade things with their new mic. The transmitters are now 6 hours for their battery life, and the charging case is 18 hours. However, the Rode Wireless Pro still has a slight edge with 7 hours for the transmitter battery life and 21 hours of charge for the case. So definitely some pros and cons to consider between the two mics, but personally, when it comes to having that quick adapter for smartphones and the slimmer form factor, I would personally declare the DJI mic the winner so far. Okay, the next feature we need to talk about is intelligent noise canceling. This is something that DJI added to their newest kit, and I think it is great for content creators who just value ease of use. Behind me is a really busy street. There should be tons of noise in this footage. I want to again compare the mics, but this time I'm going to turn the intelligent noise cancellation on and see how big of a difference it makes. Okay, so here's what it sounds like with the intelligent noise canceling on, and then I'll switch to another mic right now. I'll let you know on screen which it is that doesn't have intelligent noise canceling, and we'll see how big of a difference that makes. From all the testing that I've done with this so far, I do think it does a really good job of focusing the audio in on just the subject's voice. Although I do wish that DJI added the option to increase or decrease the amount of noise canceling that's actually happening. Sometimes I've found it adds a slight muffle to the voice because it's just removing a little too much of that ambient noise. Now, I will say for those of you who are experienced editors and you know how to edit audio, you can get a very similar effect by just using some of the built-in audio editing features of DaVinci Premiere. But for the beginners who don't really want to mess with all that stuff, the noise canceling feature on the DJI Mic 2 is really nice and something that I wish the Rode Pro had. Now, this brings us to a new feature that the DJI mic has that the Rode mic has as well, and I'm super glad that DJI matched Rode on this, and that is 32-bit float recording. This one feature by itself could literally save you on a shoot. So for those of you who don't know, 32-bit float essentially expands the total range that the microphone is capable of recording in when it comes to gain, or essentially the volume. Normally when you go to record a subject, you're gonna have to set the gain level on your microphone, and this is really important because if you set the gain too high and then your subject starts yelling, or you're at a concert where the music gets really loud, that excessive volume is basically going to overload your mic and you're gonna clip your audio. Clipped audio will look like this, where the peaks of the audio waveform are basically flat, meaning they should go up, but all the data has been lost because the gain was set too high in the mic. And the same thing goes in the opposite direction with setting your gain too low and recording audio that's super quiet that now is kind of lost. And even if you try to bring the volume levels up in post, you're also going to bring up the noise floor and just introduce this terrible hissing noise to your audio. 32-bit float really solves this problem. Because 32-bit float has all of this extra range, even if you set your gain high and your subject starts screaming and it looks like you clipped the audio, when you're editing, you'll actually be able to reduce the volume of the recorded clip, regain all of that lost data, and save your butt. Forgetting to set the gain properly in clipping your audio is one of the most common mistakes that all content creators make, and 32-bit solves that. It is worth noting though that with both of these microphones, they can film in 32-bit float, but they can only film internally to the actual transmitters themselves. Normally when you record with the transmitter, you would have the receiver plugged into your camera, which then writes the audio to the camera so it's already tied in with the video. But due to the nature of 32-bit float being just more complex files, they're really not able to transmit that file to the receiver. So if you do end up wanting to use the 32-bit float files, you'd have to use the USB-C, plug it into your computer, and then just drag and drop the WAV file into your editing program. Overall, now that audio quality just across the board in most wireless microphones is getting really good, it's including features like 32-bit float that really makes these the top dogs across the board. Now, moving on from that though, but still kind of talking about gain, I do want to mention something that I appreciate about the Rode Wireless Pro, and that's the fact that it actually has separate types of gain modes that you can use. The Rode Pro has both dynamic and auto gain mode. Similar to 32-bit float kind of saving your butt in case you forget to set your gain, left in these modes, the Rode Pro will auto adjust your gain to make the audio sound as level and natural as possible. Auto is pretty standard, and dynamic will do a little bit more to get it sound natural but punchy.
Now, one thing to add about the DJI wireless mics is they did add preset gain modes for tons of different very popular cameras. So you can literally scroll through the menus, choose whatever camera you have, and you're gonna have the best recommended settings for your camera.
Now, another new feature that the DJI Mic 2 has is direct Bluetooth connection to devices like smartphones. What this essentially means is instead of having to use the USB-C or Lightning adapter on the receiver and plugging that into your smartphone, you can actually just totally get rid of the receiver and directly pair the transmitter to your phone. At first I thought, why does this feature matter? It's so easy to plug the receiver into the phone. But then I was like, what if you're out on a hike and you literally just want to bring one thing with you? With a 5.5 hour battery life, it does make sense to just kind of bring this with you for a day knowing it's gonna last, and it can just connect directly to your phone. The direct Bluetooth connection is another thing that the Rode Pro doesn't have, which isn't the end of the world, but I would say it is a mark in favor of DJI. I think kind of continuing this trend of being the more user-friendly and all-encompassing mic. Now, with that being said, I do wanna go back and now give some credit to the Rode Pro because it has two features that I think pros will really appreciate. And the first one is the timecode capability of the mics. So I won't dive too deep into this because if you use timecode in your workflow, you already know what it is. But for the beginners out there who might be unfamiliar with this, timecode is essentially having one master clock basically synced across multiple different devices. So let's say you are filming with two different cameras, and every once in a while you start and stop recording on one camera and then start and stop recording on the other camera. Even though different things are happening with different cameras, because we have that master clock being embedded into all of the footage, it makes syncing those cameras, making sure the videos are right in line with each other if you're doing something like multicam editing, very easy. And so with the Rode Pro, it essentially works as the timecode device, embedding that master clock into your video files across different cameras, which if you are regularly on professional film sets or you're filming documentaries or things with multiple cameras, you use that feature a lot. So if that's something that you're like, oh yeah, I absolutely need that, then Rode Pro would be a good device for you because it will save you a couple $100 having to now not buy another timecode device. Now, the second feature about Rode that I do want to highlight is the fact that on both transmitters, we have a threaded lav mic jack. Obviously, all these transmitters, you can plug a separate lav mic in so you can thread the mic up and hide it. But with the Rode Wireless Pro, you can use threaded lav mics, which literally allow you to screw it on and guarantee that it will never accidentally get pulled out. This is a feature that we do not have on the DJI mic, although underneath the clip on the back, they did add like a little gap where you can snugly tuck a wire in. This is helpful in ensuring that your lav mic doesn't get unplugged, but it's not going to guarantee it in the same way that a threaded mic jack would. So as far as the major updates are concerned with the DJI 2 and how they differ with the Rode Wireless Pro, I think we've covered those. There are, however, some smaller details like the total wireless range and a few other things that I'm just going to quickly go over right now. And we'll have this little graphic that I made on screen so you can see it as well. So our first category, wireless range, the Go 2 is 656. The original DJI mic is 820, Wireless Pro is 850, and DJI is 820. 32-bit float is no, and then the Wireless Pro and the DJI 2 both have it. Timecode, none of them have it except for the Wireless Pro. As far as easy Bluetooth connection to a smartphone is concerned, the only mic that has it is the DJI 2. For battery life, the Rode Go 2 has 7 hours, the original DJI has 5.5, Wireless Pro has 7, and the DJI Mic 2 has 6 hours. As far as the battery case is concerned, the Wireless Go doesn't have one. The DJI Mic 1 has a 15-hour battery life, 21 hours for the Wireless Pro, and 18 hours for the DJI Mic 2. Easy to use touchscreen, both the Rode mics are a no and the DJI mics are a yes. As far as the total space for internal recording, if you're going with the compressed video format, both the Rode mics can record up to 40 hours, but if you switch into the higher quality uncompressed, you're gonna get around 7 hours. For both DJI mics, you're gonna get 14 hours of internal recording. Okay, so that pretty much does it as far as a roundup on the features is concerned. The final consideration really comes down to the price and what type of content creator you are. So the price of the Rode Wireless Pro Kit is $399. That's gonna basically come with everything that comes with the DJI Mic 2 kit. However, you also get 2 threaded lav mics. And these lav mics are very high quality. Rode definitely didn't mess around by adding those. Now on the flip side, the DJI Mic 2 is coming in at $349. So they are slightly edging out the Wireless Pro as far as the price is concerned, but you only get the 2 transmitters and the receiver. With the DJI kit, you don't get those lav mics. So as far as my final thoughts are concerned, I think it's pretty straightforward and it comes down to what type of content creator you are. I think as far as audio quality is concerned, both of these mics are incredible and you won't choose wrong going with either of them. So then it really comes down to those bonus features. Do you want timecode, auto and dynamic gain, and the threaded mic jack? Or do you want intelligent noise canceling, a very easy way to connect to your smartphone, both using the USB-C and Lightning adapters and the direct transmitter to Bluetooth connection, along with something that I really have come to appreciate more and more the more I use this mic, which is a very easy to use touchscreen. Now that's just me highlighting the biggest standouts as far as differences are concerned in my eyes. You can obviously rewatch this video and pick up on some of the smaller details between the two, but for me, I'm gonna be using the DJI Mic 2 for basically all of the videos I produce that are not at my desk where I can use my Rode NTG3. Now another question we have to ask ourselves is, what if I already have the original DJI mic or the Rode Wireless Go 2? Is it worth upgrading? I don't really like ever telling people that they have to upgrade to something, but in my eyes, I do think this is a worthwhile upgrade, primarily due to that intelligent noise canceling and even more so the 32-bit float. The two of those things by themselves can really save your butt as a content creator. So hopefully you found this comparison video valuable. If you did, I would highly recommend you check out our online courses at contentcreator.com. The 14-day filmmaker bundle by itself has helped over 100,000 content creators learn how to shoot and edit professional videos. When you enroll in that, you're gonna get our 14-day smartphone filmmaker program that is literally a dedicated course to helping you master the camera you will always have in your pocket. You're also gonna get our 14-day YouTuber program, which teaches you how to launch and grow a successful YouTube channel. And then finally, you get the pro camera version of 14-day filmmaker. All of that represents a couple hundred video trainings on becoming a professional content creator. You also get tons of bonuses like discounts on the Adobe Creative Cloud. You get lifetime access to our student community where I personally host a live weekly Q&A call. You get awesome color grading presets and editing templates when you enroll. The entire bundle is only $48, and if you're interested, there is a link to enroll in the description below. Other than that, if you still have questions about what type of microphone is best for you, I would check out this video. It is a crazy in-depth review of all different types of mics. I'll see you there.
I also want to add here that no one paid us to make this video. These are my own honest thoughts and opinions. We actually have links to purchase both mics in the description below. So if you're interested, check those out.